Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBeCrochet.com, and I want to welcome you to video number 7 of the Tree of Life Afghan. This is the final video in the series, and God bless you if you've stayed with me this long. This has been quite an interesting project. Just again, want to give thanks to the Lion Brand Company for letting me do this and for sending me the yarn. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at what you should have at this point. Okay, these are the first sets of trees that we did, followed by the flower rows, and then the second set of trees right up at the top. Okay. So let's go ahead and finish this, shall we? Now I want to direct your attention back to the Afghan pattern. It's kind of the overall picture of what we're doing. This is one of the last 2 pages in the pattern, and in the last video we've completed rows 1 through 55 of the tree pattern. And the next thing that we're going to do here, the next 2 rows, it says to chain 1, turn, half double crochet in next 20 stitches, then single crochet in the next 8, and then half double crochet in the next 20 stitches, and repeat from 2 more times. And after those 2 rows, we'll remove the markers. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Then it's going to be followed with a row of single crochet in each stitch across. So those are the next 3 rows we're going to do. I'll go ahead and start you off and show you how to do those. Okay, let's go ahead and do these rows. We're going to start with a chain 1, and then we are going to half double crochet in the next 20 stitches. So for those of you who need a little refresher, half double crochet, wrap, stick the hook in the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So let's go ahead and do that for the next 20 stitches. Okay, after those 20 half double crochets, that should bring you to where the tops of these trees are, the last limbs that were worked, and we're going to single crochet in the next 8 stitches. I think what this is going to do is help level out the top of the blanket just a little bit better. Let me see, how many did I do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we are going to half double crochet in the next 20 stitches, and that should take us right up to, so let me try that, make sure that that's a half double crochet. That's going to take us right up to that stitch marker, and that's going to be our repeat across the row. So let's go ahead and finish this across the row. After that second group of 20 half double crochet, I just wanted to show you that it does take me to the stitch marker here, and I am going to leave that stitch marker in just for one more row. After the next row, I'll take these out. So just to recap here, as we go across between these stitch markers, we're going to work 20 half double crochets, then 8 single crochets, and then 20 more half double crochets. So go ahead and do that for this row. This is with the back side facing, and then do it for the following row as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row and the next row, and then I will start my single crochet row with you. So after those 2 rows that alternate the half double crochet and the single crochet, we're going to chain 1, and we are going to just single crochet in each stitch across. Okay, and don't fasten off at the end of this row. We're going to continue on with the perimeter round after this. So go ahead and just single crochet all the way across the row. Okay, now we're going to begin the perimeter round, or the border that's going to go completely around this Afghan. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to work a half double crochet in each row across, and we're going to work 3 half double crochets in each corner of the Afghans as you turn. I'm not going to show you all of that because if you're working this experienced pattern, I'm guessing that you don't need to see that. But let me just say that as you crochet along the sides, you may want to keep track of how many stitches that you place. Sometimes, actually, it may just work out well to put 1 stitch per row on the edge. Okay, I think that's probably the best way to do that. And do keep track of how many you have. You should have the same number on both sides of the Afghan. Although, honestly, if 1 or 2 stitches are off, it's probably not going to be a deal breaker. Probably won't make that much of a difference. But go ahead and let's just work this, this perimeter round all the way around the Afghan. Now that we've worked the half double crochet all the way around, we're going to join with the slip stitch. Let me show you that before we do that, I did work 2 half double crochets here to join with the 1 other half double crochet to make 3 for that last corner. I'm going to join with a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1. Now we're going to work the reverse single crochet all the way around this Afghan, and we're going to only work in the front loop just like we did with the divider stitches or the divider rows. And then after that we're going to join and we're going to chain 1 and we're going to work forward, and the remaining loop we will work that single crochet the normal direction. So let's go ahead and start again, just working in the front loop only, and we're just going to work that knurl stitch or reverse single crochet as it is commonly called all the way around. Okay, just to show you, you should have a loop here remaining. So after we join this, once we come all the way around, then we will work in this remaining loop by working a single crochet in that following round. Okay, I've jumped ahead a little bit and I worked that single crochet row right here all the way around after that knurl row, and then I went ahead and I started another knurl row all the way around. This would be round number 4 in your pattern, because I wanted to show you the connection to the beginning of the round with this knurl stitch. It can be a little difficult. Actually, it's not difficult, but it might be a little confusing as to where to put that. So I'm going to show you, this is where I first started my first knurl stitch here. And so I worked a knurl stitch right there as I came around, and I'm just going to work a slip stitch just right like that. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a tug to kind of make that loop a little bit smaller. And after you do that with round 4, the directions are to fasten off. So we're going to go ahead and pull that through, and I'm going to give it a little clip. Make sure you leave a nice 4 to 5 inch strand so that it's easy to hide using our yarn needle. Okay, so we were just going to set this aside for now, and we're going to start working the leaves. Okay, before you decide on finishing this Afghan, I wanted to suggest that you watch the remainder of this video so that you can see a couple of options on how you can finish this if you don't like the leaf version. I've worked on this leaf version to the best of my ability, actually 2 or 3 times, and quite honestly, I'm just not real happy with it, and I prefer to have a different look. But some of you may really enjoy this leaf look, and if you do, that's fine. I do have the instructions per the pattern and how to do this, and I tried to modify that in a way that would make it easier, and I just find that I just don't like the ripply effect, and this is not going to be possible to block out. So I'm actually going to take this off and show you some other alternatives. So like I said, just go ahead and I would finish this video and maybe make your decision on what you'd want to use, and hopefully this will save you some time. I just wanted to show you where I'm reading from in the pattern. This is under finishing and leaves edging. And the first thing it says here is work with smaller hook. That's probably the most important thing we need to do right now, is put that size J hook down and pick up your H or 8 or 5.00 millimeter crochet hook so that we can start the first leaf. And let's go ahead and read this together and then we'll do it. Row 1, first leaf, chain 9, single crochet in second chain from hook, double crochet in next 3 chains, single crochet in next 2 chains, slip stitch in next stitch, 3 slip stitch in last chain. That's a lot. It's not hard to do, but I will step you through that step by step. And then it says working along opposite side of foundation chain, slip stitch in next chain, single crochet in next 2 chain, DC or double crochet in next 3 chains, single crochet in next chain, do not fasten off. So let's go ahead and try to work row 1 of the leaves edging. So let's go ahead and start our first leaf. This is row 1. I'm going to go ahead and start with a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it says to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Notice I'm just working on the side of the chain here. And then double crochet in the next 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next 2 chains. 1, 2, and then slip stitch in the next chain, slip stitch, and then it says 3 slip stitches in the last chain. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is what I have so far. After working those 3 slip stitches, we're going to now be working on the other side of that foundation chain, and I'm just going to use 1 loop as I go, the other side of the V, so to speak. And it says 2 slip stitch in the next chain, just like that, and then single crochet in the next 2 chains, single crochet and a single crochet, and then it says double crochet in the next 3 chains, 1, 2, let me try that again, make sure I just get one loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet in the next chain, and it says do not fasten off. So this is what we have so far. Okay, so we have, I guess, essentially 1 leaf. I'll show you the back side. Okay, now we're going on to row 2. We're going to chain 1, and then it says slip stitch in chain at base of previous leaf. Okay, so the base of previous leaf would be, I think, right here. So I'm going to do a slip stitch, if I can get the hook to go in there. There you go. A slip stitch right there. And then we repeat row 1. So let's go ahead and repeat that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chains. I'm just repeating what we did already, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this again for you. Okay, single crochet in second chain from hook right there, and double crochet in the next 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. After we do that, we're going to single crochet in the next 2 chains. 1, 2, slip stitch in the next chain. Okay, 3 slip stitches in the last chain. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure why that's taking, there you go, 3. And then working along the opposite side of the foundation chain, we're going to slip stitch in the next chain, which is right here. Okay, and then single crochet in the next 2 chains. 1, 2, and then double crochet in the next 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch in the next, I'm sorry, make that a single crochet in that next stitch. Okay. I wanted to review one more thing about the making of these leaves in case you might get a little confused, and that's with the 3 slip stitches in the 1 stitch. I'm going to show you again what that looks like real slowly, because in a sense you are making a chain. I know it feels really strange because you usually don't put more than 1 of these in a stitch, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Pull it through, and we're going to do this again, and you can see it kind of slips out. So in a sense you're kind of just chaining here on the side. I know it feels weird and may even seem wrong, but then when you twist to work on the other side and you work that, as soon as you work that first slip stitch, you can see how that anchors it to make the tip of the leaf like these others. It's getting all twisted on me here, but you know, you see how that it does make the tip of the leaf. I just wanted to give you a little more clarity on that. So go ahead, and I am just about finished with my chain of leaves, and I will show you what to do next. Okay, so now we have 2 leaves crocheted together, and so what the instructions have you do now is to continue working row 2, which also, as you see, has a repeat of row 1 in it. So we're just going to continue to make these leaves in a long line. This is going to be sewn on to the perimeter of the blanket once we finish. And so the instructions are to continue doing this until you have approximately 5 yards, or at least until this is long enough to go completely around the perimeter of your Afghan. Okay, one other thing. This is the very end, and I did have to tie in another skein of yarn. And just for the record, in case some of you, I know some people have wanted to know specifically how many skeins of yarn I'm using and so forth. It's really hard for me to keep track of that with each skein, but right here represents the 11th ball of yarn that I'm actually tying into this. So I am starting on my 11th of the 12 balls of yarn. Okay, now we're going to be working in the back bar. And the first thing we need to do is locate where those double crochets were. And you can see the double crochet started right here. And the back bar, you can see that extra loop. There's one here for that stitch, one here, and another one here. And we're going to be working in those loops on the back of our leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to join with a slip stitch. And we're going to chain 3. That's going to serve as our first double crochet. Now we're going to find the next back bar stitch. And I'm actually going to work over this too, just to try to anchor that in. We're going to do a double crochet, and then the next back bar, which is right here. I hope you can see this. And I'm going to slip that stitch over there just to try to, hide that a little bit. And we do another single crochet. I'm sorry, this is a double crochet. Scratch that, it's a double crochet. And after we do that, I'm reading on the pattern where it says next row and then right side, or actually 2 rows. This is the first of the 2, although they're not really numbered. So it's the first row that says next row under the finishing leaves edging. And after we do that, it says to chain 1. After those 3 double crochets in the chain 1, it says to work a treble crochet in the tip of the leaf. Well, let's look at the leaf and find the tip. The tip is right here. So I think if you grab any of these loops that are right there, that should be fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our treble crochet. So I think this is going to help anchor and help, define these leaves. Okay, so I think one thing we're going to have to do is, as you add these stitches to the back bars, make sure that these leaves are not all twisted around. Okay, so you got to make sure that these leaves are kind of, you know, straightforward. Okay, so after that treble crochet, the instructions say to repeat from the asterisk across the row. Let's find where the asterisk started. Okay, and that is going to be a chain 1, and then a double crochet in the double crochet in the back bar where the double crochets are. So we need to locate the double crochets again, and the first one is here. So that's 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then a treble crochet in the tip of the leaf. Let's look at the leaf, and I'm going to put the tip, run it right through this loop here. So you can see why this is kind of labeled as an experience pattern. This is not really for the faint of heart, I don't think. This is a lot of detail here. So now we chain 1, and we're just going to do it again. I'll do another leaf for you. Double crochet on the back bar, which is near those 3 double crochets in the next leaf. Chain 1, and then a treble crochet in the tip of the leaf. Okay, so let me pause there. And you can see how this is starting to come along. I have to pardon my strands there. And so what we're doing is we're working this on the back of the leaf, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach this to the last the back strand from that last reverse single crochet that we worked around the perimeter. So go ahead and complete working your leaves, and then I'll show you how to attach them. Okay, we have just completed the double crochets all working along the back side of the leaves. Okay, I want to give you some specifics before I show you the reverse single crochet. I am only going to work in the front side or the front loop. I am not going to work through both sides as the pattern would indicate for us to do. The pattern would indicate for us to just work in each stitch across and then to sew this on by hand around the perimeter. I must confess I am not a big fan of sewing anything on by hand, especially when it comes to using a yarn needle. It just seems to be tedious to me, and if I don't like what I have, it's very difficult to take out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a different option here. I'm going to work a method where we're going to only work in the front loop, because we're going to reserve the back loop here for actually slip stitching it on to the Afghan once we finish this next step. Okay, I think this is going to be far easier, and if you don't like the results, it'd be easier to take out and try again and reposition. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start the reverse single crochet with a chain 1, and then I am going to work only in that front loop. That first one's a little tricky to do. I'm going to skip the chains and pretend they're not there and go into the next single crochet, again working in the front loop only. And I'm going to work this all the way across these approximately 103 leaves. So go ahead and complete that. Okay, just to be extra clear, I wanted to show you the way I finish this by working a reverse slip stitch in the top of the chain 3. Just stick the hook in. Well, let's find the stitch. Okay, in, and pull it through. And pull it through, and I'm going to give it a little extra tug there just so that that little loop doesn't stick out. And then we're going to give it a chain, pull it tight, and I'm actually going to clip the thread. Make sure that as you clip this that you leave at least 4 or 5 inches so that you have plenty of extra string to thread into the yarn needle. Okay, so now we are ready to attach this to the Afghan. Okay, as you line this up around the Afghan, there are a couple things I wanted to make mention of. Make sure that the knurl or the reverse single crochet is up like this, and this is with the front side facing. Now if we look at the back side, got a lot of strands there, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be connecting the remaining loop from the Afghan to the remaining loop on those double crochets. Okay, and we are only going to work with the double crochets, and I'll show you how to start that in just a minute. Now should you want to clip this all the way around, they have these really neat things called knit clips, and you can just kind of join like this if you wanted to make it easier, you know, to just kind of join as you go. This is an optional thing. You don't need to go out and buy these or anything, but I like to use these whenever I'm putting pieces of garments together, or, you know, adding things like this. Again, or you can just join it as you go. You don't have to use these, but this can sometimes make it easier. At any rate, so let me go ahead and show you how to start the join. And one other thing, I'm going to bump up to the size J or 10 crochet hook, or 6.00 millimeter. This is the one that we've been using on the Afghan. So I'm going to go ahead and, remember, line these up so that this is like the third row, and don't worry, this is going to be compressed a little bit more. It's not going to be as stretchy looking, and you can join this at any point in the Afghan. You don't have to join at the corner. You can join at anywhere, but I'm going to join at the bottom corner here, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it around. So as I join this, I'm going to slip it into that stitch and into the first stitch here, grab my yarn, and I'm going to pull it through, and I'm actually going to do a double. I'm going to put both strands over it like this. It's going to be a little bit thick at first, but we'll be able to pull that out in just a second. Okay, and now we're going to begin with these slip stitches. I hope you can see where I'm doing this. Okay, now this one's going to be a little thick here, and I can just give this a pull, and that'll help bring that down. This is with the backside facing, so this is not going to be a real prominent thing to be seen. So we are only going to be working now, we're going to be working in every slips or remaining stitch on the Afghan, but I'm going to have you skip the chains. We're only going to be working in the double crochet stitches, and that's going to help to kind of, you know, tighten up the leaves a little bit so that they're not just all stretched out around the blanket. Okay, so we're just going to do those 3 double crochets, and then I'm skipping a chain there, and then we're doing that double crochet. Now you do want to be careful that you work these slip stitches with a normal tension, and if you're going to err on the side of being smaller, you know, tighter or looser, I would say err on the side of them being a little on the loose side rather than on the tight side. If you tend to crochet your slip stitches very tightly, like some people tend to, you know, make their chains really tightly to the point where when they start off on a project that they really need to bump up the size hook, if that is you, you may want to even bump up to a size K hook while you do this. But if you like what you're getting here with the slip stitch, like I'm happy with that, I'm going to stick with the size J crochet hook. Okay, so as I go around, I'm going to do this all the way around the entire perimeter of the throw, and you can see what this is going to look like. This is going to have the leaves on this side like this. Of course, I have strings to hide, but this is what we're going for around the Afghan. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this, and I'll show you what I have. Now there is a chance as I come around the last row that there might be a couple of extra stitches here, and that's okay. You can always work with that. You can just simply skip a stitch on this part in order to make that line up, or you could even if you need to add use these stitches more often, that's okay, because nobody really is going to notice this, because this is just it's just a stitch here or there. Well, let me go ahead and finish this, and I'll show you what I have. Okay, after spending many hours on this border, and that's no joke. I've spent hours and hours on trying to get this to look acceptable to what I like, and I'm having a difficult time with it. I do believe this looks a lot like what the picture shows with the Lion Brand pattern. So I do have the instructions. You can follow this if you want to have this leaf trim on your Afghan. I've taken you through those steps. However, now I'm actually going to also show you an alternative. If you're not crazy about like this finish, like I am not real crazy about it, I'm going to actually do a couple of things. I'm going to show you how you can have a simpler trim by just ending with another row of the knurl stitch, and I would also follow that up with the single crochet row behind that as well. But I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to show you again that alternative, and if I have some time I'm going to try to even add on to that if I can. Okay, so hang in there. So now for an alternative to the leaves perimeter or border, I am going to go ahead and work the single crochet round going the correct direction behind this last knurl stitch that was worked. I'm going to chain one. Now since we're in a corner here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to work 3 single crochets in this corner so that it continues around and is the right size. And I'm going to do this all the way across. I'm going to single crochet in each stitch, but when I get to those corners, I'm going to work 3 single crochets in the corner so that it makes the turning nice and uniform. So go ahead and work that all the way around. So after working those single crochets all the way around, I'm going to join with the slip stitch to that first single crochet right there, and I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to do another row of the reverse single crochet, working only in the front loop. Okay, so go ahead. If you are choosing this finishing, go ahead and we can work this reverse single crochet, working in the front loop all the way around. And again, you don't need to put 3 stitches in the corners because the single crochet rows are what made up for those corner rows. So go ahead and just work that all the way around. Now I've worked the reverse single crochet all the way around, and I'm just going to bring it around to the first stitch right back here, and then the back I'm going to do a reverse slip stitch just like that. That way it will join in, and then do a chain. And now I'm going to give this a little clip and show you what I have. I really do like this finish a lot better. It's a lot more streamlined, definitely less cluttered looking, and I think as far as my Afghan, I am just going to leave it just the way it is. Okay, I wanted to show you another way to finish the Tree of Life Afghan, and this one has a bit of a leaf-like quality to it, even though it is a shell stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch. You can join to any of the stitches around. I'm just going to join in the row with the remaining loop there from the reverse single crochet. Now I'm going to work a lot of stitches in one space. I'm going to work a single crochet, then I'm going to work 2 double crochets, then I'm going to work a treble crochet, Then I'm going to work another treble crochet with a picot. We do the treble, and then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that treble crochet just like that. Give it a nice little tip, and I'm going to do another treble crochet, and then a double crochet, another double crochet, and then a single crochet. Okay, and you can see that kind of does look like a bit of a leaf. And after you do that, you can slip stitch in the next 2 stitches, or as many as you would like, and then form another leaf. And I'll do one more for you. Single crochet, a double crochet, another double. Now we're going to do a treble crochet. Now the next treble, which is the one in the middle, is going to be the one with the picot. Chain 3, slip stitch. I go through both of the loops up here when I slip stitch. And let me show you something else too. I just like the way this looks better. If you slip stitch in the last chain up here, it tends to leave a bit of a gap between this stitch and the next stitch. So that's why when doing the picot, I like to just go in through the top loop right there. Okay, now we're going to do another treble crochet, and then a double, another double, and then a single crochet. And that single crochet kind of helps, pinch it down there a little bit. So this is another option you can use for making leaves around your Afghan. And it's kind of fun the way they are here, because they can just kind of hang and flop around like a leaf would. If you don't like the way that looks, you can always work another row of single crochet and then attach the leaves like this. If you don't like them as close as this, you can always add additional slip stitches in between. So, finishing up this Afghan, you're going to get a chance to play designer a little bit here, and you enjoy the freedom of, making things the way you'd like. Well, I'm going to end this here. I'm just really glad that you all joined me for this crochet along. It's been a real blessing. It's been a real learning curve for me, and I think many of you too. So, and if you like these videos, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any more coming your way. Look forward to seeing you in the next crochet along. God bless. Bye-bye.